understand what I'm about to tell you, you need to do something first. You need to believe in the impossible. Can you do that?
What do you desire that you can't have?
When I eat a brain, I get visions.
Don't ever come back to Gotham.
You have failed this city.
Jesus, what kind of a preacher are you?
There's about a dozen ways that I could stop you right now. But I don't think I have to.
Because where I'm from, your grandson becomes the greatest hero in the universe.
Now you should at least give a brother a moment to say something heroically clever.
In the future, my friends may not be heroes, but if we succeed, they will be remembered as legends.
Welcome to the DC TV report for the week ending Saturday, October 20th, 2018. I'm Edward O'Hare, nickname to be determined.
And I'm Sara, academic by day, freelance writer by night.
We're here to bring you recaps, news, and commentary for all live-action television shows based on DC Comics.
And we have, oh god, I didn't count, four new episodes this week?
Five.
We have 4 CW shows and a streaming show, which is what I meant to say. Five total.
5.
Yeah.
Including 2 premieres. Lot going on. So much. This is gonna be fun. Oh, we get that.
The new season is off to a strong start. I think I've all the premieres have been good. I feel like they're course correcting. They're kicking things off well. So I am pleased with you, television. I am pleased with you.
Yes. Quick bit of housekeeping. Of course, thank you for listening. Please subscribe, rate and review us. That helps us out. If you want to drop us a line, our Twitter's at DCTV Report. Please email us, dctv@wickedtheory.com. We haven't an email in a while. I do want to do a quick plug. Podtoberfest is going to be next weekend, Saturday, October 27th and 28th. That's a big giant podcast festival thingy that our buddies over at 7 Days a Geek do pretty much every year. Jason and I worked on that a couple of years ago, and it's coming up. So they get into all types of geek talk about all different topics, and they do it for at least 24 hours over a period of 2 days. Please help them out. Check them out. Podtoberfest. You looking forward to Podtoberfest, Sara?
I am, yes. I feel like that's about the time I was meeting everybody was when Podtoberfest was kicking off. It seems like I associate my early Twitter friendships with you and with Bill, Wicked Theory, with Podtoberfest happening pretty quickly after that. I was just like, what is this magical world I've stumbled into? These people are serious. They're serious about their podcasting.
Yeah. And speaking of serious, we got a very serious tweet from our buddy at Deke273, Dan from Deconstructing Dad. We were talking pancakes last week, right?
Yes, we were.
Yes, yeah. So yeah, all this pancake talk is making me hungry. And he offered us a great simple pancake recipe. That's way better than Bisquick. He even pointed out that it's so good that when his kids have it, they don't need syrup. Which
I don't believe. I mean, I'm not saying he's a liar. Isn't the pancake a carrier for the syrup?
Well, yeah. Unless he's found a way to infuse it into the pancake, in which case they're not pancakes, they're griddle cakes. But still,
semantics.
And yes. And Bauerfed actually sent us his own pancake recipe, which looked pretty enticing. I won't go through the whole thing here, but it does contain bacon grease, which is, you
can't go wrong.
Yeah, of course. So yeah, thanks for that. We don't have a lot of time for that much more breakfast talk. Although I'm sure food talk is going to wind its way in somewhere over the course of the recaps. So please continue to listen.
Inevitably it does.
Yes. So yeah.
Well, and I just want to say quickly, I am recording this in a hotel room just outside of Chicago, where I have been attending the Chicago Pinball Expo 2018. So I've had several days of just free access to hot and cold running pinball machines, and it's been amazing. I've met creators, I've sat in on sessions, I got to play the world premiere of Jersey Jack's Oktoberfest. I mean, like, it's been I am a cool person and I do cool things, and this week it's been pinball and it's cool, Ed. It's been fun. Also, I'm in a hotel room, so if somebody comes in, it's housekeeping, I'll kick them out. So
there we go. All right. And your husband right now is downstairs at the convention center, basically spending your retirement fund on pinball parts, right? So
I'm not saying that he confirmed with Ed how long we'd be recording, so he'd know how long he'd have to do supermarket sweep style, like, shopping through the vendor hall. You've got her tied up for like an hour and a half, right? She's going to be recording for an hour and a half, so I have that long to go spend all the money. I'm going to take all the credit cards, and she's going to see ya. So we're going to have all kinds of accessories and add-on lights and pin gulps and all kinds of, it's going to be. He keeps walking past. There's an Incredible Hulk machine that's for sale, and he keeps walking past this for sale Incredible Hulk machine that the gameplay is okay, but the art is beautiful. And so if he doesn't buy it while I'm up here, I'll be shocked.
Now, just so you know,
anyway,
our connection, because you're using hotel Wi-Fi, I could hear everything you're saying, but some of the audio might be a little funky, so I'm going to apologize right now for that. But we need to push through and get through this episode.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of stuff at stake. You ready to jump into recaps?
Yes, let's do it.
All right, let's do it. All right, so first up is Supergirl. Season 4 premiere. American Alien. An attack on an alien scientist led Kara to uncover a plot to attack President Marston. John's work with an alien support group made him concerned about growing sentiment around the country against aliens. Brainy had a hard time understanding Alex's expectations of him at the DEO. James asked Kara to offer guidance to a new reporter at Catco named Nia. Lena was worried about the DA's potential indictment against James and tried reconnecting with her mother. Last minute reveal, while Supergirl was saving a train in Casnia from falling into a ravine, the Red Daughter was underground, pounding into solid rock with her bare fists.
This was a busy premiere.
This was a very busy episode. five plot lines, and some of those were mixed up. So, like, there's a lot going on here. Where do you want to start?
Oh gosh. Can we start with the thing that made my heart so happy, which was the new reporter showing up with coffee for her supervisor, Kara, because Cat Grant told her how Kara likes her coffee. She says, I got you a latte extra hot. That's what Cat Grant said you liked. And I was like, oh my God, Cat Grant knows what Kara likes. Oh, she's come so far. That was amazing. So that's the least important part of the episode. But for some reason, that was what I was just like, oh, that's so nice.
Yes. And what's funny is I feel like, you know, the producers are starting to acknowledge that this show needs Cat Grant. And evidently it seems like we might start to get it because Kara, according to James, is slowly transforming into Cat. Which I don't know if I agree with that, but okay,
no,
I'll take it.
Not true. But we did at least get to see her on the job, and we got to see her be competent and enjoy it. And I really enjoyed those scenes. I missed those last season. I think was a weaker part of the back half of the season was how much she was in the supersuit and how little she was Kara. And I know that was the point with the breakup and everything at the beginning of last season, that she didn't want to be Kara. But in the back half, when she had kind of shifted her thoughts, she still was a little too supery. So, but the comparison, season 3 premiere to season 4 premiere, she's so happy and she's so upbeat, and it was frustrating at times that she wasn't listening to On. You know, he's saying there are problems, Kara, please listen. Mm-hmm. And she wasn't, because she wanted to see the best. But I also just super loved seeing her so bright and so optimistic. I missed that last season a little bit.
Definitely. I agree too. I thought we got back into this into the fun with this. Her and Nia, I think that's a cool little friendship that's starting up. And also I really enjoyed the funny dynamic between Brainy and Alex in this episode.
Yes, very much.
Yes. We're like, if you took seconds to think about it, Brainy, I think you'd figure it out. But just like he's doing everything that she doesn't want him to do.
But he's got the cardigan on. He tried. He put on a sweater.
I don't want you to be Win. I just need you to not be a jerk. Yeah.
Also,
yeah.
can I say Alex's work to home hair this season? Ugh, gorgeous. The slick work look, the more casual home look. She's got it going on this season.
Yeah, definitely. I would agree with that. And yeah. Now, the main storyline for this episode, kind of. There's trails of xenophobia and everything else in here. Does this feel like a little bit more of a political storyline to you than previously on the show?
Oh yeah, there are going to be overt, I think, political real world parallels. I like it when shows can take something in world and comment on what's happening. I know for some viewers it can be frustrating because they want that escape. They don't want to have that in their entertainment as well. I don't know. I'm of two minds. It's nice to be able to escape, but at the same time, the parallels are there. And if you want to do an alien storyline, it would be hard to do that without referencing, current events. So, for me, I'm interested to see where it goes. I just hope it doesn't get too ham-fisted. It can teeter off a cliff into preachy sometimes, and I would hate to see that. But, I thought the Graveses, Mercy and Otis, seemed like interesting villains. Mercy was beautifully dressed. She's giving Lena a run for her money in terms of brutal, efficient tailoring.
Yes.
But the idea of, kind of the alien support group and some of the experiences they're going through, I thought the casting of that was really good. Good Eleanor from The Good Place was there, and I didn't trust her immediately because of that. And then she ended up meeting a bad end. Poor thing. And I the president now. I will be curious how everybody deals with this constitutional crisis. That'll be fun.
Yeah. I mean, if we're talking hard logic, I don't think she's eligible to be president because she's wasn't born here.
I don't think she can show a birth certificate. No, I don't think so.
No. So this is going to be interesting how that plays out.
I did think it was interesting. I mean, speaking of overt political themes, the Kara ignoring the warnings from John and Alex, who are saying, I think things are going on here. And John finally called her out on it and said, you can pass. You look like an American. Not everybody can. And so what he was saying was check your privilege. I mean, you have the privilege to not be aware of what's happening because of how you look and how you move through society. And that says huge things also about the world. So I thought that was I was glad that they spelled that out the way that they did. I also enjoyed the action. I thought the storming of Camp David was great. There was some concern in my household about that's not how EMPs work, and I had to be like, but Brainy, does Brainy care how EMPs are supposed to work? I don't think he does.
Yeah, I agree with that. I also did really like the action scenes. So yeah, lot to enjoy in this episode, lot going on.
Yeah.
And do you think it was a good thing or a bad thing that Lena didn't tell James what she was doing behind the scenes to save him from prison
please
time?
Has it ever been a good thing when somebody keeps something from somebody else in any show ever?
I mean, why not just tell him?
Yeah.
I fixed things with the DA. You're fine,
And I don't think James would have been like, no, you shouldn't use your connections to bring bad guys to justice and also get me off the hook at the same time. He might have been concerned about her further damaging her relationship with her mom, maybe, but I'm sure she assured him she was fine with that if that would have happened. But yeah, I also, that immediate tension when Supergirl walked in, I'm glad that's still there because that's kind of a delicious beat for those characters to play.
Yeah. Other thing I will mention that Lillian did drop the name Bruno Mannheim. And that's kind of who Lena was using to help her with that background work. Do you know who Bruno Mannheim is, Sarah?
I'm not sure that I do.
Okay, so he's a big gangster in Metropolis. He runs Intergang, which in the comics is kind of a organized crime front for Darkseid. So
okay.
I doubt that we're going to be getting any new gods this season, but if we ever wanted to go into that direction, Bruno Mannheim could be a starting point.
That could be interesting. Speaking of in a different direction, how do you like the new John this season? He feels like a whole different dude.
Hey, Sarah, you're coming in and out. Sarah?
I can hear you now. Is that
okay?
Okay.
Could you just repeat that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Could you just repeat that last question?
So speaking of new, what do you think about the new John this season? He feels like a whole different fella.
Yeah. I enjoyed that too. I thought that was really interesting. I don't know. I don't know where that's going to be going, but I think it's a new look. It's a new place. And I've seen in some of the teasers for next week that he's going to be doing some more detective work, which is what John Jones is in the comics. He's a detective. So yeah, it's going a different direction, and I think that's a great place for the character to grow. That he's not just this administrator. He's more, instead of getting out of the secret agent, that he can spread his wings a little bit more and kind of get more in tune with the people that he's living with on this planet.
And I like that the explanation is the ritual he did with his father, and so it's kind of a way to honor that. And I do think I feel like there's a little bit of the Carl Lumley performance in him now, that he has a little bit of that calm serenity, maybe. I don't know. I thought it was well done, and it was a nice reminder that John had a major arc last season, and they're not forgetting that this season.
Definitely. All right. So
and if I can pimp my side hustle, I will be recapping Supergirl for EW.com this season.
Yay!
Starting the day this episode is dropping Sunday. I should have my recap of the premiere up sometime that Sunday, and then it'll be going live a couple hours after the show airs, as soon as I can get it written after that. So if you want to hear more in-depth thoughts or puns and dad jokes about this, you can catch my recaps. So, yay.
All right. News Supergirl?
Two little bits of news. The big one is the show is going to be casting Lex Luthor, because Lex is coming to Supergirl.
Ooh. Okay.
Do you think does that mean good things for Lena or bad things for Lena?
I don't know. I mean, Mercy Graves was his bodyguard at one point in the show, and Otis was kind of his lackey. So the fact that they're showing up, it is a precursor for Lex. I think it's going to be interesting to see Lena's interaction with Lex, because she, has really kind of said that she doesn't want to be him. But it looks like, based on her actions, in the last few episodes, that she's kind of heading in that direction. So I'm interested to see whether or not she checks and tries to run in the other direction when she sees him, or if all of this underground stuff that she's been doing kind of brings her closer to him.
Exactly that. Does he nudge her to the good side, or does he nudge her to the bad side? I hope good side. I don't want to see her go full evil, but we'll see.
Yeah. Just really quick.
Do you want them to? Yeah.
Yeah, there are two rumors that I was seeing that haven't been confirmed yet, but I think would be interesting. One is that Lex is, maybe running for president, which is something that he did in the comics. He was president for a few years. So that, that's kind of starting his political campaign. I don't know how that fits in with the show. If maybe he kind of, calls up to kind of be President Marsden's replacement. But that would have some interesting ramifications. But the other thing I was seeing is that there's a huge fan campaign online to cast Michael Rosenbaum as Lex Luthor.
That's what I was going to ask. Do you want to see Michael Rosenbaum as Lex Luthor? Because I totally do.
Yeah, why not? We could just say Smallville happens on a different Earth in this multiverse. So, I don't see why not. I don't think it will happen. I'm sure Michael Rosenbaum would be up for it. And, I know he kind of left that part in bad terms and didn't come back to finish it for the finale. And I know he's kind of talked about how he feels bad about that. So if that's the way that he gets back into the franchise, I think that would be really cool.
How's his chemistry with Taylor Hoechlin, though? Or Tyler, that's the big question, because, he and Tom Welling had such crazy good chemistry.
That's going to be interesting.
Can he work with a Tyler as well as a Tom? That's the question. Anyway, wow, that's been your fan casting. Last little bit of news for Supergirl before we move on. James Olsen's sister also is coming to the show, and we already have casting for that. Aziz Tesfaye is going to be James's sister. So we're going to meet. I kind of hope there's a meet the family storyline. That could be kind of fun. Like, what's it like to bring a Luthor home to mom? That could be interesting. But I mean, this is sister casting, but we'll see.
Yeah. And also, like, his sister, finds out that that James has been running around as a vigilante for a couple years, and probably didn't tell her. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. What's that conversation going to be like?
If it's an older sister, speaking as an older sister, honey, what are you doing? What are you? Yeah. Look at your life. Look at your choices. What?
All right. Okay. So all right. So that's it for news on Supergirl, right?
Yep. Moving on to Arrow.
All right. So let's move on. Arrow, Season 7 premiere. Inmate 4587. Oliver struggled to keep a low profile in prison. Felicity worked as a barista while in the witness protection program with William and worried about staying hidden from Ricardo Diaz. A new Archer began busting up arms dealers in Star City, and Renee argued with Dinah over whether they should break the anti-vigilante laws and help him. A young man made his way to Leon U and began poking around the island. Last-minute reveal, the mystery man revealed himself to be a grown-up William, asking older Roy Harper for help.
All right, Ed, how long did it take you to figure out it was a flash forward?
I did not know until that reveal.
I figured it out right away. Lost has me really well trained.
Okay. Well, I just thought he was just some other guy who, some kind of investigative reporter trying to look into Oliver's history. So that's why he was on the island. I didn't, and I kind of thought that was Roy, but I didn't realize that he was going to be much older until we saw him. And, he sports the gray beard nicely. Colton Haynes.
He is going to age well, if that is any indication. This is accurate. I will say, because of the Lost transition to flash forwards, as soon as I saw somebody I didn't really recognize, that was my first thought, because the show had made such a big point of the flashbacks are over, this and that. I was like, we have to go back, Jack. Yes.
So yeah, and what else was I gonna say? But with Colton Haynes, I am glad to see that, because this is a flash forward, we don't know where Thea is in the future, but that in the present that Roy and Thea are supposedly still together. Because when it was announced that he was a regular and Thea was it Will Holland had left the show, I kind of got a little. But yeah, this was I like this. This is a cool way, and we didn't have any of the flashbacks last season. It looks like that's the way they're going to integrate them back in, is by making them flash forward.
So it's interesting to me that you're not assuming that the new Archer isn't Roy. That's still my assumption, is that he's Roy. Am I being too obvious? Choosing the obvious choice with that?
It might be. That guy looks like he has a little bit of a bigger build than the actor, but I've been wrong before on that. I don't know who it is. I'm thinking it's maybe just someone completely different that we haven't thought of yet.
Roy would be it's the obvious choice, so I'd like it to be somebody different, somebody surprising. Hey man, do they want to give us Tommy somehow? Great. But yeah, no, I hadn't really thought about that. I guess I all along had been thinking the secret Archer was Roy, and so he wasn't with Thea, and that's disappointing. It hadn't even occurred to me that it wasn't him. And with the flash forwards, I mean, that doesn't mean great things for him and Thea in 20 years, but for now, that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, most importantly though, I did literally LOL at your beard threw me off a little when the prisoner was, are you Oliver Queen? The beard. No.
Yeah. And who is that guy? We didn't get his name. And I'm thinking like that's got to be a comics person. And I'm racking my brain and I can't figure it out. And yeah, Oliver's trying to keep a low profile. I mean, you've got Brick and Bronze Tiger constantly bugging him, trying to start fights with him. But, he seems to be holding them off as best he can. And this guy's just gumming up the works.
Just let Oliver, let him keep his head down and do his time, son. Let him do it.
Yeah.
But no, okay, so the fight scenes in this were fantastic. Did you kind of want to watch Eastern Promises after we got done with the premiere? Because that was a naked shower fight scene a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, they needed more tattoos, but yeah, always. Yeah, definitely.
But no, I thought these were, unlike the in the field fight scenes, which are always really good. The Oliver scenes were tough to watch, I thought. Also, I worried about the slipperiness of the shower floor because I'm like everybody's mother, apparently. Like, oh, just be careful, boys, be careful. That's slick. Someone could get really someone is getting really hurt.
Yeah, it's the slick floor, not the fists. That's not gonna.
I feel like that's more Oliver Queen than we've seen before, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, and
I'm sorry. Wait, no, this is the obvious joke. We did not get to see Oliver's pink arrow, though. That's okay. Continue.
No, we did not.
I just saluted myself.
We didn't. I was gonna transition into Felicity, and do you think it would take her that long to be that good a barista?
I think she's smart, and she can probably do pretty much whatever she sets her mind to. I did think, like, when she starts helping that fellow with his computer stuff, I was like, oh, no, girl, don't do that. Don't do that. That's how they find you. That's how they find you.
Dumb idea. Very dumb idea.
But I super loved the parallel fight scenes. I love that, them both waking up and them both having to have their, their fights for their lives. And I just, this really handled well the separation but still connection that they feel. I thought that was great. I thought her fight scene was great. And then, okay, Ed. So Oliver and Felicity haven't seen each other for 5 months?
Yeah.
And the first time they see each other is also just after Oliver has learned that she is dead. Like, he has been told, your wife is dead. And so Oliver thinks she's dead. And he gets the call for a visitor, probably thinks it's Diggle. And there she is. So they're seeing each other for the first time. He thinks she's dead. We got to see it all happen. Incredible acting, incredible moment. We live in glorious times in the Arrowverse. Yes.
Yeah.
That scene brought all the emotions.
And for everyone who thought that, separating them was gonna ruin Elicity, I present Exhibit A. I think that's made them stronger than ever. Yeah. So I'm trying to go through, make sure that we cover all the bases. Renee and Dinah fighting because we need to have them in this episode.
Yeah, whatever, fine.
We also got to briefly see Laurel Lance as the new district attorney.
Do you know why that's a problem, Ed? You want to tell us why that's a problem?
Well, I think at Southern Siren sent in a good point. Since Lance is dead, I thought of a new slogan for the pod when discussing Siren. Instead of "she's not his daughter," may I suggest "she's not a lawyer"? What do you think? Sorry, Bowerfed. I know.
No, I think this is accurate and appropriate because you know what? She's not a lawyer. I don't how. If you want to keep her on the show, fine, that's a choice. But not like that.
I just keep thinking to Catch Me If You Can. How'd you pass the bar exam in Louisiana, Frank? How'd you pass the bar exam, Frank? How'd you do it? I studied.
I mean, I'm on record that the Star City legal system is a mess. So maybe you don't have to be. Maybe actually not having to be a lawyer to be a lawyer explains a lot of it. That actually might make sense in Star City. But
I don't know. All right.
But no, seriously though, I super enjoyed this. I thought the fight scenes were intense. I thought the emotion, I thought Diggle visiting Oliver was fantastic because I know they were kind of in a strange place last season. I'm excited for the table this has set moving forward. I'm not thrilled that we still have Diaz around, but we've got all season with him, so I guess I'll learn to deal.
All right. What news do we have for Arrow?
Okay, so if anybody was curious, the flash forwards, that is a fixed future. This is not a Legends of Tomorrow thing where they're trying to tinker with the timeline. This is not that show. This is a fixed future, but we will see with those flash forwards how all those important relationships have evolved over 20 whatever years. So we'll see where is everybody in the future, which will be interesting, And honestly, if the show is coming to an end and we don't have any news to that effect, but all shows have a lifespan, this is an interesting way, these flash forwards, to give some closure, I think, to the fans and characters on the show if they are looking at an end game in a season or two or whatever, however many. But I thought that was kind of interesting. Kudos to the show for holding off on this news until after the premiere, but Ben Lewis plays adult William and he is going to be back all season long. So I'm so glad they didn't announce it and then mystery casting, who could it be? And we would have all been spoiled to hell by the time the show premiered. So it was nice to have that surprise. But he's going to be with us all season. And lastly, we will learn the identity of the new Green Arrow sometime this season, which, I mean, yeah, I kind of assumed that was the case, but if confirmed, we will find out who that person is. So, good stuff, right. Arrow. Hats off.
Cool. All right, moving on to The Flash. Season 5, Episode 2, Blocked. Barry and Nora teamed up to track an arm-stealing meta who could manipulate air into super-dense cubes. Caitlin and Ralph used some wacky methods to help Cisco get over his recent breakup. Cecile got depressed that she was losing her telepathic connection to baby Jenna. Iris got a tip from Captain Singh that Gridlock's prison transport had been attacked and began digging into police files for answers. Last minute reveal, Iris showed the team a video of Gridlock's murder, and Nora recognized Cicada.
So that is what Chris Klein looks like these days. Speaking of nicely grizzled.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So yeah, another busy episode. Going back and forth. I thought I think that the Nora Barry dynamic is progressing nicely. I did like the growing pains in this episode. I like that Joe West basically spent this whole episode on the couch, and characters went in and out asking him for parenting advice. And
we are the same. My note is, I just want Joe to sit in a chair with a paper and give the best advice in the episode. I just want people to be like, Joe, what should I do? And he's like, come to Papa Joe, I'll tell you.
I'm wondering, like, did he break his leg? Can he not, like, is he in did something happen to him where, like, he can't walk?
Oh, that's interesting. Like the actor.
Yeah.
He's FDR. He's in a wheelchair, but he doesn't want anybody to know. So people are going to come to him for advice.
Yeah. Jesse L. Martin, I hope you're okay. But yeah. I just the best talks with him. His moments with Barry, his moment with Cecile. I thought that was really hard. And it's also it's a little weird because, like, you did raise a kid without. You have raised a kid before without that telepathic connection, but I can see, like, when you have that and all of a sudden it's going away, how, there's a withdrawal there. It can be hard to go through.
So I felt like Nora and Cisco were both kind of turned up to 1,000 in a way that at first was a little irritating. I don't know. I was just a little like, okay, everybody, I need you to dial it back a little bit. But they both came to realizations that I think made it worth it, that journey worth it this episode. That, not only is Cisco needing to deal with it, but then he's able to turn around to Caitlin and say, why are you avoiding this? And so that friendship shone through for me. But they both were a little bit like, oh, God, you got to pump your brakes a little bit, guys. We get it. But as you said, the growing pains and the evolution of the relationships there with daddy-daughter, and then the Caitlin-Cisco relationship, it just emphasizes how strong that is and how connected they are. But again, why are they so mean to Ralph? I feel like Ralph hasn't been truly awful for several episodes now. And also, he died and came back, and they're still just like, this guy's the worst, am I right? Bada bing. No, be nicer. Oh my God. He is trying to help.
Yeah, and I think he did help with those 27 steps.
I think he did too. I want a kindness for Ralph Dibny campaign. I'm going to be the chairperson of that because, be nicer to Ralph.
I mean, maybe they would have got it faster if they took that trip to Thailand like he suggested.
Oh, speaking of, when Cisco talked about, if I'd known that I'd still have enough money for whatever, does Cisco have to pay for his own supplies? It made it sound like Cisco personally paid for stuff to help Nora. Does Star Labs have a funding problem?
I mean...
Can they not requisition things?
I mean, yeah, but, like, when have you ever seen them... They hold, like, one public event a season, and I'm trying to figure out, like, they don't seem to have government contracts. Like, where... Who's funding them to begin with? I mean, you'd think there was probably, like, a nice, stash left over after the particle accelerator, but, like, Barry's been in charge of that place for 4 years, and, like, what has really been going on there? So,
yeah.
It may just be a point where, like, your budget, it's your budget or your salary, buddy. The economics of that doesn't really make sense, but we kind of go with it because of the show. I am more disappointed that the actor who plays Cisco, I can't remember his name right now, but that he wasn't willing to cut his hair for that makeover.
I was just going to ask what you thought about the makeover because I was a little underwhelmed.
Yeah, it was very like, he only came out in one outfit. And
you have to have a montage, and it has to be set to peppy music. You have to try on many things.
Yeah,
there should be hats.
Yeah, and in the end, it's just Ralph, and his hairstyle wasn't really that different. The ponytail, I think,
and it wasn't cute.
No, I think if he really wanted to make a change, he should have manned up and cut that hair.
Yeah, I was actually a little surprised by that. It seems like that might be an interesting direction if he really does have that bad a breakup, and that characters had that same look for so long. That might have been kind of an interesting way to age him a little and to show that he's grown a bit from who he was in the first season, I was a little disappointed too. I thought it was a little underwhelming and over too fast. So, Carlos Valdez, if you're listening to this, consider talking to the stylist on the show about cutting that hair.
Let's
likewise, are we supposed to believe that Caitlin doesn't know the name of Thor's hammer? I feel like Caitlin would know the name of Thor's hammer.
Maybe she knows Thor has a hammer. I mean, I could see someone watching those movies and not picking that up. That it's just a hammer. They don't know that it's Mjolnir. Yeah, also kind of like, she had an interesting moment where it's like, initially she goes to Ralph with help with this death certificate, and they're doing all of this to get Cisco better, but does she really want him to vibe that death certificate? Does she really want to know? I thought that was an interesting dynamic.
Yeah, same. I enjoyed that.
What did you think of the bad guy for this episode? Vanessa Jansen.
Interesting. I thought her powers were gross. I can compact people like a garbage compressor from Star Wars. I feel like The Flash, almost more than any other of the CW shows, introduces interesting villains that are done in an episode. I don't feel like Supergirl has quite as many colorful villains that or maybe it's just because Flash has been on longer, but they always are introducing people with interesting powers that we don't necessarily see again. But I enjoyed that meta power.
Yeah, I think that it was a little rushed. I think because there was so much other stuff that they wanted to build for this episode, that they didn't have time to really flesh out those characters properly.
And maybe that's more my complaint. Maybe it's that so much other stuff happens so often on The Flash that you kind of those metas take a backseat to whatever personal dramas are going on. I did enjoy watching when Barry and Cisco and Ralph all ended up without their powers. I was just like, oh god, these people are screwed because they are not fighters. I didn't really thought about that, but like if you take away Oliver Queen's superpowers, he's still a fighter. But like Barry, oh god, he's gonna get killed.
Yeah,
I was actually worried for them.
Yeah. At Southern Siren pointed out the same thing. Team Flash without powers are really useless. Maybe they should train to actually fight.
Yep.
It is funny how that separation kind of happened. Whereas, Arrow kind of has the Street Fighters and Flash has the metas, but they got all the scrawny metas. It's funny. You would have thought Flash would have one tough guy on that team.
Nope, they're all like skinny, fast people.
Yeah. Last tweet for Flash at Deke273 points out watching the latest Flash and already waiting to hear the sigh of disappointment that Sarah Nestle will have over Iris's investigative reporting scenes.
I'm glad you asked. I have thoughts. Okay, really, really, really quickly. I don't want Iris to be a bad reporter. I want this to be a storyline that I like, and I thought she handled herself pretty well. The deference they showed her, oh, Iris, you're back reporting. Why would any cop be like, oh, good, you're... But if she'd been reporting this whole time, it would make more sense. If it was Kara from Supergirl, it would make more sense because she theoretically has been working as a reporter. Anyway, so the concept, I thought about this, the concept of a hyper-local blog focusing on meta activity, that actually isn't the worst idea for a media outlet. Like I could see, the city able to pull that off, but we haven't seen her develop it. It's just her. She has an intimate connection with every meta in the city. If she had a staff and an editorial process and other, writers and editors there, and if she could have a little bit of transparency about, I know some of these people, like, not to go to journalism on it, but that wouldn't be a bad thing, but you'd have to have some transparency about the connections with the people you're writing about, but she doesn't have that, so it's just like a personal blog that and nobody would take it seriously. You could do this in a way that would be interesting, and I'm available to be the journalism consultant if the Flash would like my expertise. But There's my sigh.
I didn't think it was that bad.
Honestly, it wasn't as bad as it has been. Genuinely.
Yeah, I actually did like those scenes. I thought there might have been a little bit of an ethics issue when she basically, you know, commandeers Barry's police computer to get access to that video. But,
yeah, that's my issue, is the ethics of it. Honestly, it's, if you want to have a blog tracking meta activity, great, but you have such access to them, and you are obviously, coming from a certain mindset. I shouldn't go down this hole.
So she's going through the police and tracking things down. You want to see her interacting more with metas on the ground.
I'd like to see her do actual reporting, and I honestly, I'd feel better if she had somebody else. I just think you need a multiple person team to be doing good reporting like that. So nobody wants to hear my thoughts on that. Moving on. But yes, thank you for that tweet. Yes, indeed.
Yes. Yeah. And is there anything more on the episode you wanted to do? Or
No. For all that I just huffed a sigh, I enjoyed it. I think that Nora Barry dynamic's coming along. I like seeing the Cisco Caitlin thing. Always enjoy Ralph. Joe, the wise giver of advice. Super good.
All right. And any news for Flash this week?
Not really. No, we're just in the season. We're moving along.
All right. So next up, Black Lightning. Season 2, Episode 2, The Book of Consequences, Chapter 2, Black Jesus Blues. Jefferson and Anissa tracked a meta with wind control powers who escaped from the pod facility. Lynn brought Issa Williams home from work and learned about the nature of his abilities. Anissa got hot and heavy with a singer named Zoe B. Tobias smacked around Khalil and set about handling loose ends that tied him to the murder of Alvin Pierce. Last minute reveal, Jefferson publicly announced he was stepping down as principal and received a standing ovation from Garfield High's student body.
So you were right last week that Issa has the truth control. So thank you for picking up on that when I did not. That was an awful, awful family dinner that we had to watch.
Yes. And leading to that scene on the roof where like, Jennifer smoking pot on the roof. Wow, I am very disappointed, young lady.
I mean, we're not mad. We're disappointed. We thought you'd make better decisions than that.
And that shows you what type of show this is, where even a girl with a family who lives in a nice house, people need to relax, and given her situation, that kind of makes sense that maybe she'd want to smoke a joint to relax.
Yeah, in all seriousness, I agree with you. I like that it was kind of just matter-of-factly presented, and that's yeah. And actually probably could be part of a regime. I mean, I could see somebody like, is that a way to deal with powers? Is that a way, if you're freaking out about your powers and the stress is compounding it, maybe that's actually a really good and effective treatment for it. So interesting.
Yeah. Jen's whole storyline this episode, I was really compelled by. Jefferson and Lynn still haven't quite gotten a handle on it. She's had so much going on her, and then Khalil just shows up out of nowhere, and I was really proud of the way she handled that. I think that going back to him would have been a mistake, and it's the kind of thing where, like, yeah, you do like him, but you can't have him around right now with everything that's going on. It's not fair to anybody.
And she can't be honest with him about, what's the big deal with the Black Lightning thing? Well, she can't say, that's my dad. So avoiding, you just kind of have to, because you can't explain fully why you feel what you feel about what he did. So he gots to go.
Yeah. And Jennifer and Anissa trying to keep herself distracted.
She has game. Like,
yes.
she's smooth.
Yes, very, very smooth, and I felt really bad for Grace Choi.
Me
and
too.
I'm glad that they addressed that in the show. That they didn't just forget about her, that she kind of shows up and then sees what's going on, and that was a hard moment. And
I will say I was excited to see her name in the credits, and it didn't go down the way I thought it would with her returning to the show. I didn't expect it to be. I didn't expect it to be like that, but it was honest. I mean, I think that was probably about the best way you could handle that, but it wasn't. I had a different expectation when I was, good, maybe they'll rekindle. No.
Nope. And just going through here, Tobias going up. He killed that guy Marcellus. He beat up Khalil. He took that evidence and then killed the cop who gave it to him. Why do you think he's worried about people finding out he killed Alvin Pierce?
That is an interesting question, because he feels like somebody who will handle whatever happens, and so for him to be so proactive was kind of interesting, because I just feel like he deals with things as they come, and he's not afraid to harpoon people if they know things they shouldn't. So it was kind of interesting that he was going out of his way like that.
Yeah. And then we had I guess the main story for this week was Wendy Hernandez and her what did Gamby call it? It was aerokinesis. You think that's a real term or a fake science term?
That sounded fake science to me, but I'm not in STEM, so I'm not in meta STEM.
So yeah. I think this was interesting to see. Anissa has a lot going on right now, but also kind of seeing. I thought the fight scene where her and Jefferson protect the ambulance, and kind of clear way after that crash. I thought that was really cool, and to see them working together, but also see that they're still kind of butting heads a little bit.
Yeah, I love the dynamics that are not in place yet at home, when they're in the field between Jefferson and Lynn, with him and the daughters. I mean, just I think that they're handling that well, and they're keeping things interesting. They're not making it frustrating where you want to shake them and be like, work it out, because everything feels authentic and grounded in reality. I think they're handling all of that really, really effectively, and I'm pleased with that.
Cool.
Also, there was a dude that came out of the pod that had who had dragon breath, like he was breathing fire, and that was cool.
Yeah.
That's not a superpower I would have thought to give myself, but
yeah,
can breathe fire. That could be handy.
Yeah, and the problem is that these kids have these powers and they can't control it, and like for him not to be able to control that is really dangerous. And yeah. And
but if you get it under control, think how popular you'll be at like barbecues.
Yeah.
You can get things going.
Yeah, and Lynn has her work cut out for her. But I think she really stepped up to the plate. I'm trying to figure out, like, does Agent Odell like want her to fail? Like, is he is he like just throwing this, here's this Willis, you figure it out. And then she did. Is he happy about that, or is he just like want her to kind of get frustrated and leave?
I don't know. I can't get a read on him. Also, is he modeled after Ben Carson? I ask because he's kind of a slow talker. And in the premiere, he had an American flag pin on and he was talking kind of slow. And I was like, Ben Carson? Is that who you're... So yeah, I'm not sure what's up with
I don't know about that. I mean, he was speaking deliberately. But I don't know about that. He's a federal agent. He works for a government agent. He works for the federal government, so whatever. But yeah, he's just creepy. You know, if it was a different type of show, you'd almost want to go like, why are you so scary? Like, why, why would anyone like want to be like that? But yeah. So everyone in the Pierce family has got their own thing going on, and
yeah, poor Jefferson losing the school, and that that speech he gave, and the kids being so upset, and he is a big man to not be like, screw this place, and he kept face for the kids, and it was he's such a good guy.
But like when that one kid called out at the end, where is the future? And went, oh man, you lock up, you kind of like, I'm not gonna cry. That was no, I'm not. That was an emotional moment. Yeah,
it was.
All right. Is there any news for Black Lightning, or is there something else?
No, I don't remember if I mentioned this last week, but I love the new credits. Did we talk about the new credits?
Oh yeah, the new thing at the beginning with the kind of they introduced the Book of Consequences, and it's the chapter, and I do see that we're gonna have it looks like most of those books are gonna be like 3 or 4 chapters each, so we're gonna spread out the storylines over the course of the season. It's not one big giant storyline.
Yep. I just love the stylized kind of comic-y fighting. Yeah, it's a stylish way to get into the episode. So yeah, that's it for Black Lightning on my end.
All right. Last episode. Here we go. Last new episode, and it's Titans, Season 1, Episode 2, Hawk and Dove. Hank Hall and Dawn Granger, aka Hawk and Dove, were working to take down a nasty group of weapons dealers who were hoping to hang up their costumes soon. Dick drove Rachel to Washington to meet up with Hank and Dawn and asked them to help protect Rachel. Amy worked the Acolyte murder case and got a visit from a nuclear family of assassins looking for Dick and Rachel. Last minute reveal, after the nuclear family attacked and snatched Rachel, Dick tried to help a dying Dawn, and a raven flew up to the roof.
Okay, so
where do you want to start?
I didn't expect with the twofer fridging that happened, 1 death, 2 times the man pain. Yeah, let's talk about that. I just didn't expect it to happen. Like, if you're gonna kill her, fine, but I didn't expect it to happen in the episode they introduced her. I guess I kind of thought this was going to be a longer, and maybe she's not, as we discussed before we started recording, Ed pointed out, she's not dead. She was still actively spitting up blood. So, that's not dead.
She was spitting up blood. She stopped moving. It looks like she stopped breathing and her eyes went cold. But like Dick
and then a raven flew up. The raven, the symbol of death, flew up. Yes, but we don't know.
Yes. Yes, yeah, and I really it was a weird note to go off of, but Dick was doing those chest compressions, and he knows CPR. He's on it. I kind of think it's a lost cause, but
I understand that death has to happen to move the story forward. The high profile deaths so far in this show of like, I don't know, you've got Rachel's mom, you've got Amy, presumably didn't survive the nuclear family, and then you've got Dawn. It's just hey, writers, look up fridging and find another way to. Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to get belabored on this, because there was a lot about this episode that I liked. The nuclear family, hella creepy, enjoyable.
Yes.
But that would just... Also, this felt so Dan Driesberg Night Owl to me.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of Watchmen in the beginning of the year, the Hawk and Dove stuff.
Oh, definitely. And, that is very much the style of those characters. Those costumes are really, really close to the comics. And I didn't think that a person could actually handle all that wing stuff that Dove has on her shoulders. But I thought she carried it really well.
It looked really impractical for fighting, but it looked really cool.
Yeah. And that's what comic book costumes are all about. But I don't really know if Amy's dead. I think they probably roughed her up a bit, and she's gonna be really upset with Dick when he gets back.
I wasn't sure. That looked really like, didn't they stab her in the back with a knife? Like,
yeah, and that looks like it hurts a lot, but they probably wanted to keep her alive to get information. So
I'll be curious. Because to me that looked like that was straight up murder. I don't know. I will be curious. I haven't seen IMDb to see if that actor's in more episodes, but the nuclear family. Okay, first of all, something's wrong with them because they're playing Monopoly by strict rules. That is not normal. No, none of that is normal.
I mean, my family always played Monopoly by strict rules. Granted, that's probably why I would be the one who flipped the board. But, but
Monopoly is the worst to begin with, and then if you're gonna make people like no.
Hey man, 3 doubles, get to jail. Let's do this. You rolled 3 doubles. It's in the book. I had a funny moment because when that is so retro 50s, that scene, that I kept rewinding, like, did I miss like, the date when it put up the city they were in St. Louis? I'm like, did I miss like the 50 years ago or whatever it was? And like, oh no, this is the present. And I really enjoyed it. I think that's a really sick and twisted idea. This is a cool batch of villains for our heroes to be going up against. I was really drawn in by the Hawk and Dove storyline. I think it's a bold move to kill off Dove in her first episode. And also, like, since there's no one to rein in Hank now, like he's going to be unstoppable. Like, I feel like Dick might have to kill Hank just to get out of there alive. This is really bad.
I am given to understand that Hank is always kind of an emotionally abusive a-hole, but that the prior relationship with Dick and Dawn is new. Is all that accurate?
Yes, that is correct. Yes, that is new.
Okay.
Yeah.
And also that Hank is an emotionally abusive a-hole. Because that was not a healthy relationship that they were in. Yikes.
Oh yeah. I will say the depiction of Hank and Dawn is comics accurate. Like, that is spot on. But the fact that Dawn and Dick Grayson had a prior relationship, that is not from the comics. That is new. Although I think Hank goes about it in completely the wrong way, he is kind of justified to have his guard up when he sees Dick show up randomly.
I see his concerns. I thought they were voiced in a way that maybe was unnecessarily confrontational, but I also kind of get it. So, yeah.
But like, I've grown up with guys like that who's just like, there's people that they don't like, and the second that they show up, it's like, yo bro, what are you doing here? And you immediately want to start a fight with them. And you have the girlfriend trying to calm him down in the corner and being like, could you just like calm down for 10 seconds so that we could have a good time? And it's not fun. It's not fun at all.
It's the couple you don't want to hang out with. I do not want to go to their dinner party because it's going to end with him screaming at her and she's going to cry in the kitchen for 20 minutes. I don't want to go to that. I don't want to. And the brisket's going to be cold. Like, I don't want to. No. Okay, I have a question. Yeah. Hank and Dawn were targeting a gang of gun runners who were targeting the preteen market. I have questions. Number one, who are the preteens that have money for guns? Number two, number one, how is that a marketable segment of a city? Preteens with guns. I think what are the allowances like there?
We should clarify. It is Washington, D.C.
How does that help? And those preteens have disposable income to spend on guns?
Well, it's maybe they're not spending the money on guns. I don't know how the drug trade works in DC. But I do know there's shorties on the corner, and you need them. Sometimes you need them to be packing in order to to protect the merchandise.
You have never sounded whiter.
Yes, that was the goal there. Am I white enough yet? Yeah, I it's the kind of thing where I don't think it needs to make sense. You just got to know that they've been doing this for a long time, and Hank probably should have stopped a while ago because his body is falling apart. But he just wants to finish this one thing, and then he's going to retire until they find the next thing that they need to stop. And you kind of see that cycle, but Dawn does love him.
Yeah.
And then Rachel goes, does she?
So Rachel, the scene with Rachel that was genuinely scary for me was when she was looking at the picture of the corpse and it moved. Yeah, no, that was not okay. That was
no.
Nope.
Well, to me, what that said is the spirit of the acolyte is still around, even though they killed his physical form. That he's still out there trying to do that, and I think that's what the Raven at the end was. Because remember, he had that Raven tattoo on his shoulder, on the back of his shoulder.
Okay.
So I think that's what that was a reference to. Otherwise, it was just weird.
I guess I don't have a sense of how. I don't have a grip on how her powers work. So I just didn't know if, because we see her reflection moving, and I didn't know if that was just a manifestation. But okay, I like that interpretation. That's really interesting. So,
yeah, I think that's why like the spirit of the acolyte was coming through the picture, and that's why Raven showed up in the mirror saying like, you've got to stop, you got to get out of here, and that that's what she was doing, because there was an evil spirit around and she needed to do something to protect herself, and she thought she was going to hurt Dick, but evidently I'm going to for all intents and purposes I'm going to say Rachel is Rachel the girl, and then Raven is the spirit inside of her. And Raven seems to trust Dick, which is why, Rachel didn't hurt him when he came into the bathroom. So yeah, I think we are learning more about this character. Mm-hmm. Interesting enough that that this was the only part of the storyline. We didn't catch up anything from Beast Boy that we saw last week, and we didn't see what's going on with Starfire in Russia. Or Austria, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
That's the approach. This is kind of like a Walking Dead approach, where we're gonna have something big happen, and then we're gonna go with one group of people for each episode, or at least for this episode. I don't know what we're gonna do next week.
If I recall, a lot of the episodes have individual character names, so that does feel like the approach that they're going to be doing, which is, focusing on one person's backstory with a little bit of story thrown in. But yeah, I'd love more Beast Boy. I think next week we're getting more of Europe. So we're gonna. I thought that's what I saw on the description. So hopefully we'll spend some time exploring the glamorous worlds of club fashion. Okay, really quickly. So this sent me down a Game of Thrones spiral where I had to try to justify what was happening. So first scene where we see Game of Thrones, it is clearly a season like 3-4 Arya and the Hound, obviously. Then we proceed, and they're at Hank and Dawn's, and we hear Rachel say, "Ooh, they have dragons." Well, if I may, Edward, dragons were introduced in the season 1 finale when Dany stepped out of the fire. So I had to tell myself, no, she's not watching in order. She caught an episode in the hotel that was a season 3 episode. And then Dawn was like, "Oh no, honey, you need to start from the beginning. Here, season 1. And that's how she was catching up. This is what I spent the bulk of this episode thinking about. How is this Game of Thrones timeline working? And I honestly think they only... I may have been focusing on the wrong thing. But it worked because I was so distracted by Dawn's terrible, terrible white wig, but it allowed Rachel to make the thanks Khaleesi joke because Dawn is clearly wearing a hand-me-down Dany wig, and that worked for me. So that has been your Game of Thrones 60 Seconds with somebody who read the books. Bam.
All right.
Okay. So at the end of this episode, we got done, and Jason turned to me and said, "This is the best non-Netflix superhero show right now." What do you think? He likes this better than the CW, all that stuff. He is on board.
I can agree with that. I would even say, as someone who just finished Iron Fist and wasn't that jazzed about Luke Cage, I think it's better than a lot of the Netflix shows.
Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry. He said this is the best non-Netflix superhero show, except for Iron Fist. So, I mean, yeah, Ooh. He did add that, I should say, in Jason's defense.
Sorry, does he know they're canceled?
Yeah, he does.
Oh,
we talked about that.
All right. So yeah. I would say it's my favorite of the streaming shows, and I think it's going in different directions that the CW shows can't. I would say I go back and forth. You know, it's because each series brings something totally different. But like of the 5 shows I saw this week, I hate doing this because now people are gonna get angry with me. But I would say I probably...
You don't have to.
No,
I was just talking.
Yeah. I would say I probably enjoyed Black Lightning a little bit more this week. But I thought Titans was just as good. And yeah, I think it's better than a lot of the Marvel streaming shows. Now, again, I'm probably going to watch Daredevil season 3 next week and eat my words. But yeah,
You're gonna wait. We get home from our convention tomorrow, and I think that will be job 1, laundry. Job 2, Daredevil.
I got to get through Maniac right now. I just finished American.
Oh, how is that?
I haven't started it yet.
Okay. Could you let us know next week?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
This has been TV talk. All right.
Mark the time down.
So yeah, I really like Titans. Is there anything more that you wanted to talk about the episode with, or?
I don't think so. Just that they again are making very good use of the R rating, no network restrictions for violence and language.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
News really quickly for this. We do have a first look at the new costumes for Raven and for Starfire. Raven's we can see pretty close up. It's black and flowy, and there's some midriff action. Starfire was kind of from a distance, and it just looked tight. Do you have more to say about that than I do?
Yeah, I think Starfire's costume does look more comic accurate, except she has pants, which is probably a practical addition. And Raven's, yeah, that's, she's got a hood and a cape.
Could we say that's so Raven?
Yes, yeah, that is so Raven to me. Yeah, that definitely works. So yeah, and I'm looking forward to that, and let's see how that show gets here. What was okay? Was that the only news for Titans?
Yeah, that's really it. So we can transition into news for the rest of the DC world.
So we're gonna start off with a quick refresher for Legends of Tomorrow, since that's premiering next week. I did watch the finale just to catch up, and there was so much going on here. I didn't realize how dense that show is. But the basic storyline for this season is that a time demon named Malice was manipulating Damien Dark and his daughter Nora, and was trying to do this to take control of the time stream. And the Legends had to go track him down. Also, there was Rip Hunter established a time bureau and put an agent in charge named Ava Lance. That named Ava, who became very close with Sara, and it looks like they're kind of, starting a relationship. What else? Amaya went back to Africa, and then eventually decided to come back onto the ship and join the Legends to finish this to finish this adventure. Dr. Stein was killed during the crossover, and Jax decided to go his own way. And we found out at the end that he's starting a family. Wally West joined the team as Kid Flash, and they had a dealing with Constantine, and that's going to be the big setup for next season. And it all came down to a big giant where they also Zari Tomaz, who has a wind totem, came onto the ship. They can't call her Isis for some reason, which is her comics name, and
weird.
Yeah, weird. And she joined the team, and that was a lot of fun. And at the end, they were chasing these totems, and then they found all of the totems and used them to combine forces to defeat Malice as a giant Bebo stuffed doll. In the greatest finale showdown that non-viewers of the show will have absolutely no context for.
So Ed says, did you get a chance to rewatch the finale? And I've been stalking the host of the Straight Down the Middle YouTube show on the convention floor for 3 days, so I didn't. But my takeaway from the finale: Big Bebo, Care Bear stare. Like, did we need to know anything else? I feel like no. So we have a host of news for Legends that might kind of put some of this into context, and maybe we could talk about our hopes for the season overall. Would that work?
Yeah. So okay. Yeah, so John Constantine is joining the team permanently.
Constantine is on board permanently. There's a trailer kind of looking at what's going to happen this season. It looks energetic and fun and bright and lively. We see Constantine in a towel getting thrown around by forces. We have demons. We have a unicorn who we meet a unicorn and a fairy godmother, and apparently both of them are terrible, and those are rumored to be the good people of the mythical creatures they're going to be hunting down. So if those are the good ones, holy cow. The trailer looks delightful. It's bouncy, it's fun. Constantine name checks Swamp Thing, so that's kind of fun if you think about the DC Universe stuff that's going on. But this is such a welcome break from, you talk about Titans, and it's so grimdark, and Arrow is lots of prison fights, and Supergirl's got xenophobia, and I hope that this show can bring that lightheartedness. I hope it doesn't go. It can't be wacky all the time, probably. So I hope it has a good balance, and I trust him. This is probably my favorite of the CW shows because it is so different, and time travel is fun, and also Brandon Routh. So yeah, are your expectations also high?
Yes, yeah. I'm really excited. Watching that finale, I realized like how bonkers this show is, but it gets away with it, and all the tie-ins that they have, and this just looks like a big barrel of fun. It's going to be fun to watch these episodes. Mm-hmm.
So the second episode after the premiere this week will be October 29th, Witch Hunt. That's going to take us to the Salem witch trials, which feels appropriate, Halloweenish, I suppose. And that's where we are going to meet the fairy godmother, who apparently is a bit of a dick. So that's going to be coming up sooner rather than later. We have a little bit more information about the character that Maisie Richardson Sellers is playing. She was Amaya. She has come back to the ship and left, and come back to the ship and left, and now I think Amaya is off the ship for good, in theory. But the actress will be back playing a magical fugitive named Charlie. They've been a little cagey about details on that. My hope, this is not based on anything, this is just me saying what I personally, Sarah Netzley, would enjoy watching, is that she's some sort of shapeshifter or trickster, and she's able to take the face of somebody, and she chooses somebody Nate loved and lost just to mess with Nate, because I am in favor of people messing with Nate. So that could be a lot of fun, but we don't know what the circumstance is going to be there, other than that she's going to be kind of an unpredictable friend foe. We don't really know.
Okay, did they give a name? I'm sorry, you cut out.
Charlie.
When I heard that.
Charlie.
Okay. Charlie. Cheer up, Charlie. Okay.
Show me that smile. And apparently the actress is enjoying it, because Amaya always was a bit of the serious, okay, everybody settle down, get back on track. And in this character, she gets to join in the fun a little bit. So the actress herself has been enjoying that. Last thing on Legends, they're not participating in the DC CW crossover this time, but they said they're doing an episode where they cross over with themselves. They're going to be a lot of time stream and crossovers with the cast in other times, so they're going to kind of bump into each other themselves, if that makes sense. So that sounds like fun, because everything about the show is so damn fun. So
all right, and okay, and was that's all the news, right?
That's it for Legends. We can then move into the little bit we have for other shows, starting with, I guess, the DC crossover on the CW that I just mentioned. We've heard this, I think we've reported on something like this in the past, but they're promising a lighter and more fun crossover this time around. So hopefully that means no Nazis. No concentration camps would be a nice, lighter thing to do. Mark Guggenheim is the overseer, so he had been the Arrow big boss, but he stepped away. So he's kind of dedicated to being the traffic cop, I guess, getting everybody where they need to be for the crossover. If you've been anywhere on social media, you probably have seen some of the pictures that have been leaking from the crossover. And then there's the poster that shows Oliver Queen and Barry Allen switching superhero identities, and Barry is in the Green Arrow hood and mask, and Oliver is in the Flash suit, and it's wrong. It just feels wrong. It's so wrong.
Yeah, I know. Barry, that beard doesn't work in the Flash outfit.
No, and kind of the dark eye mask thing for Barry. It's just not. It's uncomfortable for all of us looking at it. But
Yeah,
I mean, it's going to be fun though. Obviously, I mean, I'm looking forward to it. That I cannot wait to see what they do with it. But just that subversion of expectations is super fun. Also, some genius did a face swap with Oliver Queen and Kara Danvers, and you see Oliver with Kara's hair, and it's so awful. Oh,
ooh, man.
Oh, it's rough. We've also seen leaked photos from the set that show that in the crossover, some version of Barry and Oliver seem to be in a gang. They're in black leather, matching jackets, boots, pants, and the jackets say Trigger Twins. That's the most adorable gang name I've ever heard of. I cannot wait for this to hit. This is
Yeah. This is really exciting. Really exciting. All right, we gotta move.
Okay, I wasn't done with the crossover. I'm so sorry. I'll go fast.
Oh yeah.
We have a new super suit. So Superman, Tyler Hoechlin is going to be sporting an all black suit. We also have a leaked set photo that has Bitsy Tulloch playing Lois on the set. It doesn't really show us much of anything revealing, but that is happening. Okay, so much for the crossover. Yay! Moving on to Lucifer. We have casting. Vanessa Vidotto has been cast as Remiel. She is an angel. She's a little sister to Lucifer, so that dynamic is a little different than what's been in the comic books. But
Okay.
Lucifer, little sister angel, sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
All right.
Pennyworth. We have
Pennyworth.
so
Music.
much casting for Pennyworth coming to Epix. Number 1, Alfred will be played by Jack Bannon. Number 2, Thomas Wayne will be played by Ben Aldridge. Number 3, the two buddies of Alfred that we reported on a couple of episodes ago will be played by Ryan Fletcher and Hainsley Lloyd Bennett. And finally, Paloma Faith has been cast as Bet Sykes, who is a villain for the show. So, I don't know, man, Pennyworth was saving up a year's worth of casting information and just dropped it all this week.
Well, yeah. I mean,
I guess this show is happening.
Yeah. I mean, they're starting shooting soon. One thing I think we should note is that all 5 of those actors are very pretty people. Which
it's surprising, I know, to those of you who are listening to know that they chose attractive people to be on television, but they're attractive people.
I'm just saying, like, when you splatter that Epix has, their shows star like Nick Nolte. They have like these old kind of grizzled kind of really, it seems very serious. And this seems to tells me it's going to be a serious show, but it is going to go in a little bit different more of a CW type of direction, just in terms of the acting style. I think it's that kind of show where like we're going to be young and hip. which is fine.
Does that make you, I was going to say, are you more or less interested in it after that?
I'm a little more interested because this is a fledgling premium cable network that's still trying to find its identity. So like if this is going to be their new tentpole show, I'm really interested to see like, oh, okay, that's what Epix is up to now. All right, let's see how this goes.
Yeah, cool. Last bit of news then is for Watchmen.
Watchmen
coming
music.
to HBO. We have our first look, which it was not super useful for me. Ed, you had a better description than I did. You want to tell the good people what we saw?
It's a moving picture of a cop with some type of yellow mask over his face, and it's it's very fluid. It almost looks like a Rorschach mask, but it's completely solid, comedian yellow. So yeah, it's like, but it does feel very Zack Snyder to me. It does feel reminiscent of the Watchmen movie and the Watchmen feel. So I think that just kind of like tonally, this is what the show's gonna look like, and like, okay, all right, that's enough. I wish we could get more, but I'm sure we will over the next few months.
For me, it's evocative of the smiley face. I mean, you got the black and the yellow, and it is the colors and the visuals, the sharp contrast there. Yeah, it looks very very Watchmen-y. And that is that. I think we've come to the.
All right, so that just leaves our winners for the week. I will go first. And my winner was Joe West, for the reasons that we talked about in that episode. I think he just sat on the couch and schooled everybody and gave everyone the parental advice he needed, and he's an all-around great guy.
That is funny because my winner of the week is in the same vein, and we've switched roles this week because I usually pick one person and you pick a big theme, but you picked one person and I have picked a theme that actually touches on your person as well. So my winner of the week is good advice giving. So we had Kara giving advice to her new reporter that she's mentoring. And as she's talking, kind of realizing that she needed to take that advice herself. We have Joe dispensing his dad advice. And, he's talking to Barry, and he had that lovely scene with Barry trying to make him understand what's going on with his daughter. And Cecile overhears, and she's like, oh, that's good advice for me too. We have Jefferson in Black Lightning talking to his students and trying to kind of like, it's going to be okay. We're going to keep moving forward. And then, in Titans, Dawn tried. She tried. She did her best. So I good advice giving kind of won the week for me.
Yeah. All right. I think that was a great theme. I wish I'd had the time to think of that. But yeah. So yeah, thanks very much. I think that's going to be the DC TV report for this week. You can find us on Twitter. I'm at Edward O'Hare TBD.
I'm at Sara Netzley, SaraNetzley.
And follow the show on Twitter at DCTV Report. Send along your emails to dctv@wickedtheory.com. Also, be sure to subscribe to our show on your podcast app of choice and rate and review us. That helps more people find us. Check out our sister shows, the Wicked Theory Podcast and Preacher vs. Preacher. This has been a Wicked Theory Studios production. Executive producer Bill Sweeney. Visit us at wickedtheory.com. Shazam, everybody.
Shazam.
Shazam.